You're listening to...
No!
All right, go ahead.
All right, everybody. I hope you've got your listening pants on, because once again, it's Tuesday night. That means 4 idiots talking about stupid stuff coming to your eardrums to give you auditory cancer. That's right. I am Alec Ransom, and I am captain of the shit ship Enterprise, and we are sailing straight into your house. We got lots of topics to go over tonight. Sit back, get a beer, turn your vibrator on, and strap on for a shit bag of a show. We got lots of Royal Rumble talk, lots of drug talk, lots of getting fired, getting injured, getting terrible talk. But damn it all, if the highlight of the Royal Rumble wasn't the fact that both Edge and Beth Phoenix were in the final 3 for each of their consecutive Rumbles. Charlotte Flair gets the win. Brock Lobster lasting for days. And let's not forget my favorite, absolute best part of the 2020 Royal Rumble, which is why I was most sports entertained. No Sasha Banks. Here comes the intro.
You're listening to the Pittsburgh Piledriver.
What the hell is that?
Podcast.
All right, everybody, you're listening to the P3 Interrupting Cast, and we're kicking it off shit side up today. We got a lot of shit to talk about. We got a lot of wrestling to do. We got a lot of boozing and blogging Hawkins. I'm Alec Ransom, captain of the Starship Bullshit. We're flying at warp speed with Beef the Legend, Poot the Bard, Tiger Barn, Tarm, Bork, Laser, Lobster, and Up the Ring. What did you guys think of the Rumble?
I say we start with our with one of our lovely sponsors, and now defending,
Could've just said great.
undisputed. It was good.
Well, thank you, Poot.
Well, I
Don't talk him up. Don't talk him up.
I didn't. That's why I cut it off, and I was like, oh no, the Rumble. Yeah, the Rumble was good.
He's default champion.
Default.
He'll be in there for a cup of coffee.
Default.
He got lucky that he picked the one match different than everybody else on our hashtag ScrewBeef2020 episode.
I can't help you. We're all dumb enough to pick CM
close.
Punk.
He'll come nowhere close to coming near or breaking the longest reigning, defending, undisputed cruiserweight champion in the P3 podcast. That is my client, Poot the Bard.
I'm surprised that you are so able to speak so eloquently with Poot's dick that far down your throat.
It's small.
That would have been a more impressive insult if you didn't flub it the first time.
Hey!
I mean, beef's rubbing off on me. What can I say?
Ooh.
Don't drag him into this. Don't drag that handsome mustached man into this. Don't you do it.
Oh, it's the cast against the champ.
It is.
That's
Hey,
one
fuck it.
champ.
Whatever.
sexy seared hunk of beef, and I will not have you besmirch his good name.
Besmirch.
What is it with you two and the word dispersed tonight? I don't know, man. That's crazy talk.
Well, let's get the shit show going. We got a lot to talk about, like
Shit
Ransom
show.
said. So.
Yeah, so thanks, Casual Gaming Dad. Thanks, Sean Tisler and IWC Clearfoot and IWC in general. Let's hit the road. Let's go.
You know what?
Hey, did you guys know that Charlotte Flair won the Women's Royal Rumble?
She did.
She did, and it was amazing.
Charlotte Flair!
The right person won, too, guys. She was so deserving.
They booked that better than any other booking in the past 20 years of WWE. They nailed it on the head. Charlotte Flair deserved this.
Champ advocate me. Let's give her a round of applause.
Yes.
Hey,
Charlotte.
What
has
about
Beef
you,
had a
Beef?
heart attack yet? I think he has.
The only way his heart's going to give out is when he realizes that the right woman won that Rumble. No one is more deserving, more talented, or more over than Charlotte Flair.
Woo!
Those are all despondent lies that you're lining your fucking highway to hell with, man. That's the most terrible thing you've probably said to me in years.
Wow, that's saying something too.
Well,
Right?
and here's Here's the fuck of it all. Here's the fuck of it all. You're not wrong. The fucking Rumble was booked like damn near perfectly until the end.
Oh.
I don't get it. If you guys understand the appeal of Charlotte Flair to me, I am open for business for trying to understand. But man, outside of her last name, I don't get it.
Well, I mean, ask Andrade. It must be all that weed he's smoking or whatever he popped for.
We'll get to old Andrade.
Don't understand how you don't get it. I don't understand how you don't get it. She's the best.
You know why Andrade is with her? Because he's a smart motherfucker. Andrade before Charlotte Flair was wasting away on the main roster, getting nowhere fast. Andrade after Charlotte Flair is United States champion, has been suspended for 30 days without relinquishing the title. I mean, he's a smart dude.
So,
he's the next fucking Paul Levesque.
So let me ask, so are you saying he's the Mexican Triple H?
Wow,
you're saying?
Oh my!
That
was hot.
Joking aside, you really that tickled you, didn't it?
Oh, that was perfect, Pooh. That was perfect.
He popped hard for that one.
That's a new crayon color, tickled beef.
It's mixture of pink and brown.
That's ugly.
All right, so
just call him the Shocker.
Okay, let's. Okay.
Wow.
All right. Good night, everyone.
I thought that sort of joke would have been right up my alley. Thank you, Ransom.
Sexual chocolate, baby.
That's what you. Oh. That's what they should call it instead. A mixture of brown and pink. Sexual chocolate. All right.
Every time you say sexual chocolate, you have to follow it up with the.
Okay. New rule. New podcast rule.
Yes.
So every time you say sexual chocolate,
poor Mark Henry. Poor Mark.
He loved it, dude. If you watched his thing he had on the network, was it Chronicles or was it just Legends, Mark Henry or something like that? He loved that. He ate that shit up. He thought it was so much fun.
Oh yeah.
Fucking everybody's got a thing on the network now. Fucking Brooklyn Brawlers coming out next week, then Bash and Booger the week after that. My God, everybody's got a fucking story now. Get out of here.
Bash and fucking Booger has one coming out.
Oh fuck.
Wow.
Anyway,
I'm Tom. So, I'm being facetious. I'm just saying that not everybody deserves a fucking WWE Chronicle or backstory
Dude, I don't know because nothing would surprise me anymore. I mean, you never fucking know.
All right. Well, anyway,
definitely already got one though. Charlotte Flair.
Yeah.
Woo. Anyway,
all right.
but back to it. Like Charlotte, like we when Baszler came out at 30, I was like, this is it. She's going to eliminate Charlotte. It's going to be this magical moment. It's going to be great. But then as things dwindled down, I was just like, damn it. I knew. It was one of those things where you saw the finish line and it was just lined with people to beat you with like oversized carp. Like you're just like, oh, this is going to stink and hurt. Like
I still think Beth Phoenix should have won.
Dude, Beth Phoenix was the fucking MVP of that Rumble besides Bianca Belair. Like,
yeah, those two stole the damn show.
They absolutely did. Absolutely, they did.
I don't give a shit what you think, Beef. She got her head busted wide open, bled damn near the majority of the time she was in that Rumble, and she didn't miss a freaking beat.
Here's my takeaway from it, that Beth Phoenix still has it, and I would much rather see Beth Phoenix in the ring than on commentary, because I think on commentary, she has a lot of work to do, but in the ring, she is still a solid natural. So I would much rather prefer to see her in the ring than, and I'm not saying she didn't deserve it, because again, I think body of work speaks better than like, what you're doing now. But here's the thing, man. Like, yes, Bianca Belair really fucking stood out to everybody. She was in there for like 30 minutes. She had 8 eliminations. Shayna Baszler, and my God, I cannot believe that I'm like champion Shayna Baszler now. I don't know where the fuck we've come in the last year.
She's solid,
but
she's absolutely solid.
I would go a step further and call her the most dynamic woman on the roster right now. She has the best in-ring skills. She has the best character in my mind, and she has some pretty good promo too. and she gets like real heat. So
Yeah.
but all that notwithstanding, she's in the ring for like what 5 maybe 5 minutes and has as many eliminations as Bianca Belair, which by the way, both of them with 8 eliminations is now the Royal Rumble record. I know that it's, the Women's Royal Rumble is new, but still for them both to have 8 eliminations in the same Rumble, 2 NXT girls is a big fucking deal to me.
I agree. And this year I was, man, well, number one, I was sick as fuck. So first of all, let me apologize to you guys for not making it down to Pittsburgh this weekend. Dude, I'm not going to go long-winded story into it, but like, we'll put it this way. When I went into Friday in the morning, I was editing and I was so out of it and so like vertigo dizzy and stuff, I fell out of my chair.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a good advocate.
Ooh, sorry.
Jesus.
I love how like no one's like also laughing with him and being like, oh, okay, this is funny. Everyone's like, dude, Poot was so sick that he couldn't sit. Like,
If I start laughing, it's only because I never hear Ransom get this worked up.
dude,
And it's
he's,
his,
you know something is really funny to him when he goes full goofy.
yeah.
I'm
Like,
sorry,
"Oh,
I could just picture Poot in the chair, just typey, mixy, edit, oh, and then just falls off.
Okay, now that's
You're
funny.
right. Okay, it's fucking funny.
Dude, you want to know the scary part? That's not far off how it happened. Like, I was
Wow.
I was sitting there. I was sitting there
Wow.
and I was trying to focus and going, I can muscle through this. I can muscle through this.
Gosh.
And I was focused so hard that I like I had a fever of like 101.2. Like and I was focused and I literally like things kind of went fuzzy and I was on the floor.
I
Oof.
think I can crash.
Dude,
Been there.
anyway, but anyway, I couldn't make it down. So like I was going into this going like, I'm pissed off. I don't get my Rumble weekend. I'm sitting here at home and I'm still a little sick. And I was ready for the Rumble to be just like a pile of shit, to be like, all right, good. Worst Rumble in 25 years. Fuck. Like, I was like, but it turned out the whole thing was great.
Yeah.
I have to say, overall, I was very sports entertained.
Yeah. Yes.
I definitely agree. And I got to say, as far as,
Take a
one of
shot.
the matches that stood out for me. What's that?
Nothing, keep going.
That's okay. Go ahead.
Oh, Ransom's all tickled.
No, one of the matches that stood out for me was the Bray Wyatt match. I think they did it really well with the strap match. And I was glad to see that they didn't have the red light on, because if they did, you really would not have gotten to see the carnage that was Daniel Bryan's body after taking all those lashings and everything. So and the match was really well done. Just the psychology of it, everything. It was really well done. I especially loved at the end whenever he just like Bray Wyatt comes up and Daniel Bryan kind of like slowly turns around, realizing like, shit. And then he grabs the strap and just starts beating him with it, and Bray just no sells it like, not today, Junior. So
Well, that's
I
why.
Thank God they didn't do that red light. That red light is stupid.
And
Yeah.
Tom,
the theory is.
Go
ahead,
ahead,
Beef.
Poot. No, I was going to say I had a grand awakening in a moment. That's the exact reason they didn't do the red light for this match. I bet you it's back the next time,
Well, that
just so you can see Brian's welt on his body.
Well, and
I
that's
hope
the
not.
thing I was going to say is that's the working theory is that it's not like, okay, this was a bad decision, we need to throw it away. It was that they wanted to see that it would take away from the strap match. And so they took it away, and it's going to be back. Like, everyone's like immediately like, yeah, they're not going to make a good decision. This is WWE we're talking about. Like, they're going to like, everyone's like, great, that's gone. You get to see the detail of the Fiend's mask. You can even see like his eyes. You can see Bray Wyatt is so good at conveying that character and emotion with just his eyes.
How about whenever they first went to the outside and somebody in the crowd was like, "Yeah, we wowie," and he just turns and snaps his head real quick at him,
and he grunted. He was like, "Ah."
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
good.
that was great.
I really dug that.
We've never debated the efficacy of the Fiend. It's always, the stupid red light, or how badly they're going to blow the dismount on it, because we know it's coming. It's WrestleMania where every good boy gets over. So it's coming, and it's coming fast. So I mean,
this is Pirate Rumble beef. Pirates are bad guys. Pirates win.
Well, we'll see. I guarantee Roman Reigns has like an eye patch and comes on a fucking stupid Macy's Day float pirate ship and fire the cannons. I don't know.
Listen, I want to say one thing about the Fiend. I want to say one thing about him, and I know a lot of people, because I've read the stupid interweb things, and even we've done it too. And well, I can't speak for the three of you. I know I've done it. I've compared him a lot to the Undertaker, but the thing that I dislike so much about the Fiend is not that I don't expect them, nor do I want them to make him the next Undertaker. He should be his own complete entity, which, yes, that's fine. But the thing that is going to ruin the Fiend, that they never seem to ruin with the Undertaker, are his losses. When the Undertaker lost, especially when the Undertaker lost titles, it always seemed to make sense. It never seemed to make him look weak. It always seemed to make the other person look strong. So on the one hand, while the victor of whoever went over on the Undertaker, they always looked strong without making the Undertaker look weak. And they're not doing that with the Fiend. When the Fiend loses, he looks weaker than the strength of the person that's going over him. Does that make sense of what I'm saying?
It does, but if you think about it, at least on pay-per-views and stuff like that, because that's the only time we've gotten actual matches from him. We haven't gotten it on a weekly show. He's only had that one. He didn't even really have a loss per se. It was just referee's stoppage of the match.
Stoppage, right?
So
that was a hokey finish anyway. That didn't make any sense.
It was, but here's the thing: he technically has not lost yet. If you really think about it, house shows, that's something different, because house shows are house shows. Hold on.
But here's the thing:
Hold
with
on.
Ransom thinking that he has all these losses and how he's looking, what does that tell you about the character and what they're doing with it?
I get that. That's a valid point, but I agree with you, Ransom, that he needs to be his own thing. And I mean, just remember with wins and losses, even though Daniel Bryan lost, Daniel Bryan looked strong as fuck coming out of that match afterwards. So it's not always about whether you go over, it's about getting over. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like he said, it's the impetus of the Undertaker. There was purpose in his losses, and the Undertaker could continue on and still be loved and still be treasured, literally treasured by the fans, even to this day, for God's sake. But here's the problem: people didn't give up on the Undertaker on his first loss. That should have been my question. When was Undertaker's first loss? But if you look, his first loss
to Hogan when he lost the title back to Hogan at Tuesday in Texas, I think.
But that's the thing, is right there. He lost to Hogan. No one expected otherwise. It would have been a huge deal if he would have beaten Hogan again. Hogan beat him. No one was surprised, because they're like, well, Hogan always wins. And so the Undertaker didn't look weak. It's like, well, 1 million people have fallen in the wake of the Hulkster, brother. So, it's like
sexual chocolate.
So, but
brother.
Brother. But
brother.
One of my favorite memes recently is the one that says Hulk Hogan devastated after 23andMe reveals he's not everyone's brother.
I love that.
It's the best.
But my point with this is Bray Wyatt and the Fiend character is not that way. His first loss is going to shatter the facade of this character. even if they would have to thread the smallest, thinnest needle hole in the world to make him come out of that still looking like a threat and an issue and a problem. They can't do that. His first loss is going to be cataclysmic for that character.
I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that. You probably are right, just because I would say, yeah, the way his character is. But that's unfortunately, like, you're not gonna. I don't know. You're not gonna have necessarily that same lightning in the bottle that you had with Undertaker. That's, he's a once in a lifetime treasure. So I mean, but
if I may,
yeah, go ahead, Beef.
Here's something to think about and to chew on. Like, we are all up in doom and gloom right now because of what's going to happen. Because we know that Roman Reigns is going to beat The Fiend. If the internet existed back in like 91, 92, whenever that whole went down with Taker and Hogan, and Hogan won the title, I think that you would have had the same, like, doom and gloom clouds everywhere. Everyone would have been like, oh my God, they're going to ruin this Taker guy by having Hogan squash him, and it's actually going to ruin his career. So, I mean, yes, perception is reality for sure. And like I said, I think the perception is that, like Ransom noted, that we all feel like he's in this, like, the Fabergé egg, like the minute that he's mishandled, it's just going to, like, crack and destroy, and that's the end of Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt has proven nothing if not resilient, man. He is outstanding at what he does, and it's noted that he has a modicum, at least, of creative control over this character. So while, yes, I think the ultimate end goal, or the ultimate end is the same, that I think that Reigns gets the victory, I think that it's going to be kind of a Pyrrhic victory, if you will, because I think that somehow the Fiend is going to retain some sort of, like, I don't know. For example, when Taker lost to Yokozuna, every heel in the fucking locker room put him in the casket, and they rolled the casket down the aisle, and then, like, the smoke started billowing out, and he showed up on the Titan board, and he rose from the Titan board, and all, that whole thing. Like, it showed that the Undertaker's power was greater than ever. I think they'd be smart to do the same thing with the Fiend. Like, have Reigns lay him out, like, completely lay him out, and then, like, boom, he's gone. He just fucking disappears, which is going to be tough to do in an open-air arena, just make him disappear. But I think it can be done, and just, like, have him be gone for a minute, and, something magical, I think, would have to happen, I think, and it needs to happen.
Is it going to be Reigns?
I mean, we all assume it's going to be. So, I mean, but then
Who
again,
else?
well, hold on. But then again, think about it. I mean, yes, that's the obvious choice, but the obvious choice to win the Royal Rumble was also Roman Reigns, according to us, and I'm sure everybody else. But then look what happened. Drew McIntyre won, which, thank fucking God.
You're not, Tom, you're not wrong. And we'll get to that because that was incredible. But
yeah,
I think that unless they continue this Daniel Bryan thing, or there's other stuff, I don't like. That's the thing. It's like the Fiend's thing with Daniel Bryan. It might have, like, Daniel Bryan might just never get over it, and they're going to move on to someone else. Or they're going to have, like, a bell curve arc where it's like, okay, Fiend's done with Daniel Bryan, and then, he'll go through a couple feuds, maybe a couple here and there. But once it gets to Mania, they will, like, 3 weeks beforehand, snap back to Daniel Bryan. And I think that it's going to be Daniel Bryan again. I think Daniel Bryan having another Mania moment is more feasible than at this moment than Roman Reigns, because Roman Reigns is literally just kind of like, it's like, all right, so we're going to just give Reigns the title, and then everything's going to go back to the way it was. People will rail against that so hard.
Well, yeah, but to Vince McMahon, Roman Reigns is that like 98 Toyota Corolla that you have in your garage that you've put, thousands upon thousands of dollars in. Like when you got it, it was a great car and you loved that car and that car was going to just be the best thing in the world. And as you've gone through the years, you've had to put more work into it. And now it's like you want to take it out to show it off because you're like, hey, this is my fucking car. But you're so invested in it. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's probably still going to let you down because it's a 98 Toyota Corolla.
I don't think anybody's ever said that anything positive about a 98 Corolla, but go on.
I've to one thing to Beef's point. I think it was Beef that said, but in any case, regardless, like if Daniel Bryan is the one to beat the Fiend at Mania, I think it's a win-win situation. Honestly, like the crowd's behind Daniel Bryan, but the marks. The smart marks, I should say, are more so behind the Fiend. And if it is Roman Reigns that goes and beats the Fiend, if Roman's the one that hands the Fiend his first loss, then maybe it won't be as a devastating thing because the fact that the crowd is so enamored with the enigma that is the Fiend Bray Wyatt. I think that like in typical fashion, when Roman finally would go over again, the crowd's just going to be like, fuck this guy. But I will say to WWE's credit, they've done a good job at keeping Roman away from the title for how long now? They've done really, really good at that. So if he does end up gaining it at Mania, I mean, he's been away from it from how long? We had to expect it was going to come sometime because how many other main event contenders are there that you could really see putting the title on? Corbin? Not so much. Maybe, but he's still got that little bit of a hump to get over, if that makes sense. So I don't know. I mean, who else but Roman or Daniel Bryan at this point on SmackDown?
Here's the thing with Roman at Mania, though. There's not a chance in hell that he's not going to get booed out of the building if he beats the Fiend. So crowd reaction right there, and again, crowd reaction and Vince McMahon, he could give two shits less most of the time, I would say.
Yeah,
but Roman Reigns is going to get shit on as soon as that hand comes down and counts to 3. It doesn't matter how many fireworks they set off after he wins that title. It's going to be a sea of boos, and it's going to look bad, and it's going to sound bad. And even if they manage to mute the crowd, some of those boos are still going to get through. You're not going to have the cheers that most faces get whenever they win the title at Mania. Roman's going to get booed because he's going to go over the Fiend. I think he would get booed if he went over most people. But especially the Fiend. People are going to boo the heck out of Roman Reigns, and I just don't know that that's a smart decision to make. Whenever you are trying to build this guy as one of your top faces, he's winning the title at WrestleMania, and just boo, 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 boo. They better put that match on last because the fans will turn on that pay-per-view.
Well, they'll have to put on Brock Lesnar, Drew McIntyre last.
I think McIntyre and Lesnar gets the nod this year, with good reason. As far as who else, I mean, so here's the thing. I'm trying not to say here's the thing, and it's bugging me. Here's the thing. With Daniel Bryan, they pulled his legs out from under him by giving him this heel run, which I thought was wonderful. But I mean, it really robbed him of a lot of steam that he had.
Yeah.
Kofi Kingston is now a mid-card tag team champion again. So, ever thus the deadbeats Kofi. I mean, they have done a great job of really demolishing any upper card that they have. So much so that I think that even Corbin and Roman are like upper carders now. You heard me.
Roman Baines.
Robin Baines, yeah, exactly. So I mean, they're literally in a corner where now they have to pull the trigger on Reigns. If they don't pull the trigger on Reigns, if not now, when? They have to decide how they're going to deal with it, how they're going to soldier through with it, and how they're going to get through it, because they're going to have to get through it, because Reigns is clearly in their plans. They have delayed their plans for the last probably 4 years between Rollins and Daniel Bryan and Kofi, but I think we're out of options. It is it is Reigns' time now, and we can just pray that Keith Lee comes up sooner than later and waylays him. But until then, it's big dog time.
Why can't it still be the Fiend's time though? Has he had the title that long to where it's like, okay, he's run its course, he's got to lose?
No,
He really hasn't, if you think about it. It's been since the fall.
he can. But what's the problem is in not only for the fans being very now, change. What have you done for me lately?
Oh.
Because of the way WWE works now, it's almost like they fumble in the dark. You know what I mean? They're constantly trying to change things or do things or throw curveballs, and it muddies up everything. Like it really does. Like,
and I'll be honest. Go ahead, Putin. Sorry.
They'll just kind of give like they'll try something, and if it doesn't get over in a week or two, they throw it away and they move on. And the problem with us is we don't go, well, what about that thing? What were you doing with that thing anymore? We're so, browbeaten by all this and kind of like, okay, well, that's gone. So what's next? We just kind of go like, okay, this won't last long, so we don't get invested, and it goes away anyway, and the cycle perpetuates itself. And I know not us, because I like to think we're pretty invested. Like, this is a cool thing. We always get excited. It's that kind of childlike wonderment at wrestling. It's the thing in us that made us literally like pop when Edge came out. And like, I don't know about you guys, not gonna lie, teared up a little bit. Anyway, but that's the thing, is that the cycle perpetuates itself. Cool things happen. We don't get invested because they're gonna screw it up. It doesn't get over immediately, so they just throw it away.
Well, and with Reigns, they've really done a disservice to themselves for not doing exactly what I suggested a few moments ago, and not just putting their head down and soldiering through, because now he's the guy that can never quite get there. He's the guy who has had the most second place rumbles. He's the guy who has had the most almost. If they truly believe that Roman Reigns is going to be their guy, they need to say, you know what? Fuck the fans for a hot minute. Let's do this, and let's figure out a way to get it over. Or if not, do what they're doing with Seth Rollins and say, you know what? Let's embrace the hate.
Figure it out.
I don't know. Yeah, exactly. I don't know that they'll ever do that with Roman and, the whole embrace the hate thing. But realistically, like, having him almost win it and have that carrot pulled away every single time is making him look like more and more of a bitch every single time it happens.
Here's one one last point I want to bring up with Reigns, and then hopefully we can move on. But do you think it might be a matter of that he said like a little while, how like within this last 6 months or so, I think, didn't he say something about that he wasn't sure, like if he was still going to be doing this in a couple years or anything like that? So do you think that maybe like, even if it was something that they were suggesting, like, hey, we want to put the title on you, that if he said, no, I'm not the guy for it, I don't want it? Because there are some guys in the company that in past times have like basically refused the title. And I mean, I'm sure it's few and far in between, but I have heard stories of it. So do you think that's even a possibility?
I don't think he'd pass it up.
Okay. Yeah, I was just curious because
I think he would. Number one, not just to be a contrarian, but because he's had his titles, he's won Rumbles.
He's going to have a Hall of Fame career.
He already has a Hall of Fame career. Like, I mean, the stuff
he's won a Rumble. He's won a Rumble, and again, it's the whole perception is reality.
Let me finish my point. My point is, honestly, aside from another belt or chasing down Cena or whoever, or getting that saying, oh, this is 12-time world champion, like how they're hammering away with Edge, he's an 11-time champion. Like, aside from that, what does he have left to prove? He's made millions. He's had a Hall of Fame career. He's getting along. He's beaten leukemia twice. Like, what does he have left to prove? I could see him going like, nah. Like, I could see him going, no, this is what's best because blank. I could see him going, now I can just play.
For as much as we might shit all over Roman Reigns, the character, the man behind the character seems all in all like a pretty stand-up dude. And I mean, even whenever he had to leave from leukemia, this last time around and stuff like that, I mean, so many people professed how much of a locker room leader that he is and stuff like that. So I could see him personally. I could see him doing that. But again, who knows?
Even if he would, so let's say he is a good guy and all, and I don't have any reason to say that he's not. At the end of the day, though, I don't know that Roman Reigns has the stroke or the clout to say, no, you know what? I don't think it's good for me to have the title, and I don't want it. And I don't think he has the stroke to where Vince would go, yeah, you know what? You're right. We'll think of something else. I think Vince will say, nah, you're going to get the title, and this is what I say.
I think he does have a little bit of stroke, though. I mean,
a little bit, but I don't think he has that much.
But
let me read to you his championship accomplishments in WWE. 3-time World Heavyweight Champion, WWE Champion, 1-time Universal Champion, 1-time Intercontinental Champion, 1-time United States Championship, one-time United States Champion, and 1-time Tag Team Champion, and he won the Royal Rumble once. I mean, to me, I don't even know that's a Hall of Fame career because, again, perception is the reality here. I don't think he's done all that much. The Miz, to me, has a better resume than Roman Reigns. Rey Mysterio has a better resume than Roman Reigns. We think that Roman Reigns is this all-powerful dude because, like I said, the problem is that he's always there.
But here's the thing with that, Beef. People have gotten into the Hall of Fame with way much less accomplished. Look at Roddy Piper. I mean, and yeah, Miz has Drew
Carey.
Hey, I'm just saying, Miz has a better resume because Miz has been there a hell of a lot longer than Roman has. So, just saying. But
I just feel like the reason, like, he is a negative beneficiary of the Cena effect. Because we had Cena shoved down our throats for 15, 20 years, we're all like, oh my God, we're so sick of this guy. Roman Reigns, a promising young upstart, is in the main event scene because, he has the look, he has the skill, he's got some decent promo chops. Like, and he's tapped as the guy. He's pushed in our face for like 5 years, and we're like, oh my God, we're so sick of this guy because of what happened the previous 15. Better or worse, I don't know all that, but I think that, like I said, for as much as we hate Roman Reigns, and hate the strong word, but for as much shit as we give Roman Reigns and what they do with him, if you look at that list of accolades, it's very, very, very light for the kind of like disdain he has with the IWC. So I don't know, man, but I just think that, I don't know. I feel like now's the time, and like I said, they just have to get through it with him. They just have to say, okay, we know this is going to happen. Let's put on our big boy pants, tread through the waters of shit, and figure out a way to get this guy over.
I will. Well, no, go ahead.
Oh, I was about to segue. That's all.
Oh, okay. Segue away, champ.
Well, I was going to say, speaking of getting over, somebody that got over the most, I think, last night is finally the one that was called The Future how many years ago?
Dude.
Drew McIntyre.
I want to hear Ransom's take on this.
Well, I mean, what?
What are we doing again?
Good talk.
No, I know what we're doing. It's have I shit on Drew McIntyre before though?
No. I just want to hear your take. Like, I mean, thinking about how he was back in the day, like literally, like Vince McMahon handpicked. They were rolling with it. They were doing this whole thing, and then like they dropped him, and he went into the ether of the indies and became this fucking monster of a man. Does anybody else remember Drew McIntyre being that fucking tall? Whenever he was such a little guy. There was nothing impressive about him other than he was from Scotland. Like, and when he did his first run and he came back and he's a nightmare. He looks like if you look up the word in the dictionary, testosterone, it just has a picture of Drew McIntyre and his smirk.
I like that.
I remember Drew McIntyre as a member of 3-man band.
Yep.
Again, he came from the doldrums of that and brought it back around to now he's going to be main eventing WrestleMania.
Perseverance
Hell of a
plays
word.
off.
Well, let me say this. I think Drew McIntyre is a wonderful picture of maturity. If you either read or listen to some of the interviews that he's given, he admits that during his first run, he let it go to his head. He wasn't mature about it. And he made bad decisions, and he was, maybe kind of cocky and arrogant about it, which is what ultimately led to the 3MB and then what ultimately led to his dismissal. And he did a lot of growing up. He did a lot of maturing. And when he came back, he acknowledged the mistakes he made of his past, and he wants to press forward. I think Drew McIntyre is a shining example of somebody that you can look at and say, hey, you know what? When he first came in, he was given all the opportunities in the world and he squandered them away. But he came back and, made a hell of a good impression on a lot of people. He worked very, very hard. He changed his attitude. And I look at Drew McIntyre and I listen to his promos that he gives and his in-ring work. He looks and sounds like a main eventer. I'm very happy that Drew McIntyre won the Royal Rumble, and I think if anybody could bring legitimacy, there it is, to beating Brock Lesnar one-on-one, it's not swarmy Seth Rollins, because I still don't buy into that, but it's Drew McIntyre. I could see Drew McIntyre putting up a hell of a fight against Brock Lesnar and coming out on top without having to play dirty, without having to resort to low blows or interference. I think Drew McIntyre is one of those guys that can go over on Brock Lesnar at Mania in a clean 1-2-3 in the middle of the ring victory. And I think people would not only buy into it, but they would applaud it.
I
hope he wins.
I'll tell you one thing that, and I know we always give Bork Laser a whole lot of shit too, but I gotta say he did something to really help Drew McIntyre. And I don't know if you guys picked up on it or not. When he took that Claymore and got eliminated outside, he didn't put his hands up. He took that Claymore clean to the head and he sold the fuck out of it after he fell out too.
Yeah, he did.
So there, it bears saying that Brock Lesnar, when he, I don't want to say when he wants to, but for lack of better terms, when he wants to help put somebody over and he sees the money in it and, and things work out right, Brock Lesnar will work fucking hard to, sell it right and do things right for somebody. He definitely helped put Drew over just in that small instance there, because he sold it afterwards, the look on Heyman's face and everything. And it just, you have your picturesque moment. Like, if nothing else, win, lose, or draw, whenever they have their WrestleMania match, the thing that you're going to see that's going to keep getting replayed on the way up to that Mania match is Drew just standing there in the ring, staring down at Brock like, now what, bitch? Yeah.
And here's my take on it. Like I said in the chat, McIntyre, like, he is now the quintessential example of hard work paying off.
Yep.
Like, he left a child, cut his teeth really hard on the indies, and came back. I remember when he re-debuted in NXT and he came out, I literally gasped when I saw him. I was like, well, Jesus. Like,
looked like a different person.
He's a man.
Such a man. It's not even that. It's the fact that you look at him and you just go, this, you immediately knew this time he was destined for greater things.
Mm-hmm.
Immediately. And do you know the story of how the Claymore kick came about?
I heard about it, but I forget.
So
I know I just heard about it recently.
the Claymore kick came about because when he was in 3-man band, and I can't remember who he was drop kicking, but he went to give a drop kick to someone and his leather pants were so tight that he couldn't get both feet up. So he Claymore kicked him. And that's where the Claymore came from.
Nice.
Yeah. So like happy accident, as they say. But digressing, it's not only something that is good and people are excited about and it's fresh, but it's also inspiring because you can see in his face after the Rumble, you can see in his face on Monday when he came out and cut his promo and then subsequently buried the fucking club. But like his face, you can see on his face, you can see the appreciation and the, I'm so fortunate and I feel it and I've worked so hard and now it's paying off. You can see it and it makes you go, wow, he really gets it and he really appreciates what he's doing. I applaud Drew McIntyre. I applaud everything he's worked for and how his everything, the look, his work in the ring to tell a story, his in-ring work, and how he's done to transform himself. And I am looking forward so much to WrestleMania to see what him and Brock Lesnar can do, because when Brock is hyped about a match, he will go to the ends of the earth to make that match amazing.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
A couple things. So I find it ironic that Ransom notes about McIntyre not having to resort to low blows. But do we remember how Lesnar got eliminated? Anybody?
Yeah, it wasn't McIntyre that did it. Wasn't McIntyre.
Low blow followed by the Claymore. I'm just saying irony.
I get that because I brought it up and said it's funny how they did not include that on the opening little package before the main title of Monday Night Raw, because if they included that, it doesn't make Drew look as strong. But again, yes, you are correct. Technicality wise, Ransom, yeah, it was Ricochet that did it, because you had to tie up that loose end. Ricochet gets his little bit of a dick kick city revenge, you know.
What did Phillips keep screaming whenever Becky beat Asuka? Debt paid or like receipt claimed or something.
That's been paid, huh?
That's been paid, yeah. So with McIntyre, it's funny that they're doing this year, because this is also the year of the redemption arc and the redemption story of Tetsuya Naito, a guy who was handed basically the promotion as a young buck and then had to leave, find success elsewhere, come back and look like $1 million, and then finally get one over on the on the dude who's basically been owning NJPW for the last 5 years in Okada. So
sorry, I gotta interrupt and ask you real quick, Beef. Is Naito still have both two belts or no?
As far as I know, he's still the double champion. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
This is it's drawing a lot of parallels. Someone described it as very Los Ingobernables of it, and I thought that was apropos. I mean, there's no denying that McIntyre looks the part, he sounds the part, he acts the part. If he doesn't go over Lesnar at Mania, it's a fucking crying shame. But I want to take a minute and just talk about Brock Lesnar, because I've always been a very staunch Lesnar supporter. Even when things got very, very thin, and about 2 years ago things were very, very lean, very, very thin. I've always said he's a hell of a worker when he wants to be. At the Royal Rumble, he, I think, had his best showing since he came back and beat John Cena with like 18 suplexes. I think that was the best that Brock Lesnar has looked since his first run, because yes, all right, he was fed a lot of ham and eggers and threw a lot of people out. That's true, but it ultimately set up the story of, oh my God, who's going to toss this guy? And it made a fucking, McIntyre became a made man at that point. Not only that, But when Keith Lee came out, that really divided a lot of people because a lot of people wanted to see Keith Lee really do well, and for him to come out and only be a part of it for like 4 or 5 minutes really rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. I look at it from the other side of the coin. When Lesnar came out, when Keith Lee came out, Lesnar looked at him and said, "Who's this motherfucker? Who's this big boy?" Kind of thing.
Yeah, the joy on his face, and he went, "Ooh, big boy."
Yeah, he was like, okay, things are gonna start, and like Keith Lee knocked Lesnar down a couple times. Keith Lee stood toe to toe with the most dominant WWE champion of the last, I don't know, long time, and made, at least, and made a wonderful accounting of himself, taking it to a legit badass. And it took Braun Strowman coming out, distracting Keith Lee in order to get both of them, taken out by a cheap, throw up by Lesnar. So again, like that's Lesnar doing work, even though he's not losing and he didn't get eliminated by Keith Lee or Strowman. He still put both of those guys over by making them look like gold by, having to take the cheap way out. So
you're seeing the what if, the what if Keith Lee,
for sure.
There's one other thing I wanted to say about McIntyre real quick, and I'll throw it over to you, Ransom. The difference, and this is a good segue because Ransom brought up Seth Rollins and it not being believable. When Seth won the title off of Brock, I think it fizzled out more so because we just wanted to see the title off of Brock. We didn't care who did it because we were just tired of Brock having the title and not being around. Now, whereas with McIntyre, we want to see McIntyre win. I think that's the key difference. There's more emotional investment, and that is the biggest thing when you're trying to get somebody over, regardless of who it is or how they do it. Emotional investment. Go ahead, Ransom.
That's a very sound point as far as the title swap between Lesnar and Rollins, and then the potential title swap between Lesnar and the Scott. I think it's a very sound point. Beef, you're right. I don't often sing Brock Lesnar's praise, but I can't remember who it was a little bit ago that said, Lesnar took the unprotected Claymore kick. Lesnar, when he takes shots and when he takes bumps, he makes it look legit. I honestly don't remember a time where Brock Lesnar would put his hands up for a shot. He takes it full bore, and when Lesnar gets hit, he makes the other guy look very impressive because he doesn't attempt to block it. He takes it head on, and when he goes down in a heap and makes it look pretty impressive. Not only that, is Drew McIntyre, I think WWE did a very good service to him by, after he eliminated Brock, he was on those ropes and he was just staring him down. Brock was looking at him, Brock was jawing at him, and I think even Lesnar or McIntyre turned around and either went at it with somebody or threw somebody else out, and then turned right back around and went right back to the ropes and stared at him a little bit more. I think they made a good showing of oh no, I just blanked on his name. What's his name?
McIntyre?
Yeah, I think they made a good showing of him, not being intimidated by Brock Lesnar and not just like, all right, they threw him out and now he's back onto something else. He had his attention on Brock Lesnar for probably a good 2 to 3 minutes. In a Royal Rumble, that's pretty impressive to be able to take your eyes off the rest of the action and stare somebody down. They really did a good job of making him look strong and unintimidated by Brock Lesnar.
Yep. Some unfortunate things because there was a lot of good about the Rumble. Unfortunately, though, it seems like AJ Styles got a shoulder injury whenever he got speared by Edge. He just landed awkwardly, which sucks. We don't know the extent of it yet.
I went back and I watched it. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Tom.
No, go ahead.
I went back and I eyeballed it, and the thing is, I don't think a lot of people I saw were immediately jumping on Edge. And
oh my God, no.
And here's the thing. Styles, you see those guys, Styles and his ilk take like clotheslines and stuff, and they do the flip, like the inside out, and they make it look like they really got, hit by a bus. I think he was going for the backflip off of it, and thinking Edge was going to go through him, but Edge always hits and goes down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like the down, boom. And in this case, he went down, so Styles couldn't get full rotation. He landed on that shoulder, and by all accounts, it's a pretty nasty injury. Like, it's a pretty nasty separation. Because, like, separated shoulder, it seems like, is very black and white. Either you separate it, pop it back in, it's sore for, like, a couple, maybe a week or two, and you're good. Or you separate it and tear the fuck out of everything. You know what I mean?
I think you're right on that hit. That's exactly what it looked like there, Poot. It looked like he tried to do that flip out of it, but just couldn't make it, because unlike a Goldberg or a Lesnar, when they spear you, they go through you. Edge always hits somebody and takes them down, and I would say that it's probably the most protective spear that anybody can give.
Oh yeah,
the spear that Edge gives, and that's exactly what looked like happened. Is that Styles tried to flip it over and just couldn't get there.
I mean,
I don't think that's Edge's fault at all.
no,
not at all. It's the Will Ospreay effect, man. Like hey, I have to do something to make this look dynamite. Because Styles knew the position he was in, that Edge was coming back, and that he wanted to make Edge look like amazing. And I mean, good on Styles. He's a veteran. He gets that. But I mean, sometimes like you gotta rein those in, man. Sometimes you just gotta take the move for what it is. You just got to be safe with it, man. I don't put it on either of the workers. I think Styles was doing what he needed to do, what he wanted to do to really put an exclamation point on Edge. But yeah, whenever I saw AJ get eliminated, I immediately thought that he like slipped off the rope, because I'm like, oh, there's no way that Edge was supposed to get rid of him because of what they were doing with Orton and Styles. I'm like, there's no way that was an accident.
Now, I got one other thing in regards to Edge, because my recording, whenever I recorded Monday Night Raw, cut off a little bit. Actually, cut off like right after Orton gave him the RKO. I didn't see the concerto that happened. I'm really surprised that they allowed them. And I know, I'm sure there's a way that how Orton did it. I'm watching the little clip on Instagram right now. Actually, like, it's as safe as it could be, or as protected as it could be. I'm really surprised that they Vince and them allowed them to do a concerto.
What?
I think I was gonna say somebody told me that you could, if you watch, like, you could see Orton kind of asking him like, "Are you sure you want me to do it?" And Edge telling him like, "Just do it, just do it, just do it."
Well, I think, and that's the thing. They let them do that because, number one, they're both veterans. They both know what they're getting into. They both have done that spot before. They both know how to keep it safe and make it look good. And also, because they did that. And Randy Orton's character allows him the luxury of getting in someone's ear, grabbing their head, and talking to them, because like it's like, oh, Randy Orton's saying some sick sadistic bullshit to them. When really he's like, hey, bud, I love you and I want you to be safe. Are you sure you want to do this? You know what I mean? Like, it's Randy Orton, like, and I think he really meant what he said to Edge on Raw about, like, look, you're the one who straightened my ass out and pulled me up and out. So like, I was a little surprised that they did it, but I mean, I think they wouldn't, if it was anyone but Randy Orton or another veteran of his sort, they wouldn't have let that happen. Yeah,
I agree with that. It's a good point.
Let me be the guy who's going to stir the pot. So I think that Vince has no problem with it, for the same reason that he has no problem with Daniel Bryan doing his little head bumps. Because I think that guys like that, whenever Vince is like, you know what, you're done, and they're like, no, I'm not, and I can prove it, and even though they get a doctor's clearance and everything, a part of Vince still goes, you know what, I'm probably right. So if the choice is, either me putting you out there and you probably ending your career, or you going to a different promotion, I'm gonna let you go out there and ruin your own career. I'm trying not to be like, Mr. Fucking drinking the Kool-Aid here, but I mean, it's for both Bryan and Edge, and I know it's different injuries, similar but different. They both were in talks with, I think Bryan was in talks with Ring of Honor, New Japan, because AEW wasn't the thing at the time, and Edge was in talks with AEW before he came back. High level talks, and they basically said, hey, if you won't let me play ball in your yard, I'll go to another yard and play ball. And Vince was like, all right, well, okay, if you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it, so good luck, and we're gonna make sure you can do it, so good luck, and if you get hurt, hey, it's not my fault.
Well, I mean, isn't it widely regarded that the contracts regularly state, like, we're not responsible for any injury or death?
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say it had. I'm sure it has to a certain degree. You have, like, obviously they know the risk they're taking, because look at same thing like we just said with Styles. Injuries can happen even on a move that's not some crazy, super high risk spot fest move. But so what else did we want to get to? I'm like drawing a blank now because
I really think we covered. We got to talk about Andrade's suspension. We touched
AEW.
on it, but
and AEW too.
And AEW.
The problem is that we sometimes get like very negative bend on things, and we like to talk about how badly Raw and SmackDown are doing. That I think that we really don't give AEW and NXT their credence and talk about how good and the good things that they are doing. But yeah, before we get to that, let's talk about something negative with Andrade.
Do we know what he popped for?
No, they have not said. I haven't even seen speculation, so that's not not out there yet. But WWE.
What was it? He got popped for the wellness policy. Is that what happened?
Yep. Drugs or steroids or something. He pissed hot, and WWE formally announced today that he's out for 30 days, which is pretty shitty on the road to WrestleMania. But luckily, it's a big fucking long highway, so they got time. Here's what I want to hear from you guys. They knew about this yesterday, clearly, because they wrote him off TV with that DDT by Umberto. So I want to hear your opinions about Andrade walking out with the title last night when they had a very clear shot to give the title to Umberto.
Here's what I think that they could do or should do moving forward. They should have, if they knew about this last night, they should have put it on Umberto. But if they weren't, if they really feel that Umberto's not ready for it, then I think what they should do now that Umberto's quote unquote taken him out, they should vacate the title and have an open tournament for it. There you go. Problem solved.
Food?
I think it's I'm gonna take probably a little bit of a centrist opinion on this. Look, apparently, and I can't remember who it was. I think it was who was the guy who was make so and so great again. You remember they were doing that bit?
Oh, Darren Young.
Yeah, Darren Young.
Bob Backlund.
Apparently, I think it was Darren Young talked about marijuana and marijuana products, THC products in the WWE on a shoot interview. Apparently, he said this, and he said 90% of the roster uses some kind of THC or marijuana product. Like because they're hurt and they're to sleep and to deal with pain. And that's not saying everyone's back there getting stoned. You know what I mean? It's like using
cannabis oil.
Yeah,
or like hemp
oil,
seed. Yeah.
The oil, the THC oil and products and stuff like that. So like, they might piss hot. You know what I mean? Depending on how rigorous WWE's testing is or how sensitive the testing is. the thing is, with his suspension, it's his first offense. He, has been a good hand. Taking the Charlotte Flair thing out of this, he's been very good. He's done everything they wanted, even when he first came in and he looked like a goddamn cartoon character. Like with the stupid hat and the feather, and they tried to make him a face. And I'm still mad that they took the hood off him and he wasn't La Sombra. I understand that would have buried him even further, but just saying, the La Sombra character was so good. But Andrade, once they made him a heel and they paired him with Selena Vega, he's been great. And he constantly puts on barn burner matches. He does. More often than not, every match that Andrade's in is good. And when he got that belt and carries that belt, he feels like a legitimate mid-card heel, or mid-card champion. He does it well. The belt looks good on him. And I think if he could make his... If he could speak better English, kind of like how I'm doing right now, but if he could cut a better promo in English and make it impassioned. He apparently was widely regarded on the indie scene as the best heel in the world. Not just in Mexico, but in the world. He was a really good heel. And let him do that, but he doesn't have the skills yet to do it. And I think he needs to put in some reps to make that happen. And I think that taking the belt off of him and throwing the book at him, I think that's just sour grapes, because there are people who are like, well, he's dating Charlotte, that's why he's getting treated. If he wasn't dating Charlotte, they'd take the belt off him and bury him and put him on 205 Live. But
Guilty.
That's the thing.
They're probably not wrong, though.
They
I'm not
are wrong.
but go on.
They are wrong.
I'm not. Go on.
You are wrong, because
Let me.
there have been.
I was gonna let Ransom get a word in edgewise, but I have to fix this right now.
What
I have
before?
to fix this right now.
But no.
Two words. Mr. Kennedy.
Mr. Kennedy is not Andrade Almas beef.
He was better.
No,
he had a dynamite
wasn't.
character
In the ring,
better in ring work, and he was a master of the fucking promo.
You are
he was
fucking
widely
gross.
regarded. He was widely regarded as the next Steve Austin until he had that stupid mail order drug thing that completely derailed his fucking career.
The mail order drug thing was a bigger deal than you fucking remember. That was a bigger deal than you remember. This was not an isolated little incident of pissing hot because you might have had a little too much THC or smoked a joint or something. That was a bigger thing, and they needed a sacrificial lamb. So don't throw that in my face. Also, better in ring work, I'm sorry. Andrade's better in the ring. On the mic, you're right. No, very few people can touch Mr. Kennedy or even be at his level or even in the ballpark. I will give you that all day long. But do not throw that he is better in the ring than Almas. I will fight you all day long on that, okay? My point is, people are want him thrown on the pyre about this, and I think it's erroneous. It's his first offense. He has done nothing but everything they wanted and been really great in the ring. How many times have, during the trudgery of a Monday Night Raw, has he had a match with Buddy Murphy or Rey Mysterio or Rey Fenix or whoever and brought the crowd up and got them chanting, "This is awesome," at a random match on a Raw? That's a rarity now. So I think,
man, if you have a tape from Rey Fenix with Andrade on Raw from the last couple of months, I would love to see that.
Not the past couple months, but it's been within the last two, year and a half.
Not with Rey Fenix, brother.
It was either, not Rey Fenix. Oh, not Rey Fenix.
Kalisto?
Kalisto. Thank you. I'm sorry.
Okay.
The masks. The masks are very similar.
They are very similar.
So give me a break there. With Kalisto, seriously, think about that. Really, before you just start wanting to hang him up in the square.
I haven't even said my piece, man. I'm letting you get it out. What do you think, Ransom? I'd love to hear your opinion.
Now, Mr. Kennedy's a top shelf star that we'll never see again, and that's a damn crying shame. I think he's better than a lot of other people on the roster. That notwithstanding, I think with Andrade, I want to say that my belief is they probably didn't take the belt off of him. I'm assuming because of what he got popped for. I'm assuming it wasn't something that was that bad, or else they would have taken the belt off of him. As far as for taking it off of him and putting it on, what's the guy's name?
Humberto.
Yeah, that guy. If they don't have any longevity or long-term goals with him as the United States title or United States champion at this time, I think it would have been one of those, blowing your knees out, knee-jerk reactions of take it off of Andrade, put it on this guy, and then as soon as Andrade comes back, put it back on Andrade. Well, if you're going to do that, just let him keep the title while he's out for his suspension. If they have long-term plans with Andrade, it makes sense for them to work this injury angle, have him off TV for 30 days, and then come back and he's still the champion. If the long-term goal is to keep him as United States champion, that makes sense.
So it would not shock me if their ultimate goal is to have Humberto take the title off of Andrade at WrestleMania. That's kind of where I think this is going.
WrestleMania pre-show, let's be clear.
Yeah, well, maybe. Well, because keep in mind they have other titles that they can put. Well, actually, the cruiserweight title's not really on the main roster anymore, but that's I guess something else we can talk about too. But anyway, I am solely of the belief that he did not lose his championship because he's a Flair. I think that anybody else this happens to, with the exception of like your top level stars, they lose the belt. Whether they get it back or not in a matter of 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, whatever, is neither here nor there. We've seen guys lose titles, Money in the Bank contracts, number one contenderships, etc. to injury all the time. And to me, a suspension and an injury kind of go hand in hand. They're different, but I mean at the same time, people expect to see champions on shows defending titles. That's why everybody hates Brock Lesnar, because he's never around. He holds the title hostage. So I think that that Andrade being a Flair-in-law really goes a long way to have him kind of fall softly. That being said, I don't know that I disagree with you guys. I think it's probably the right move because that damn United States title, oh my goodness, excuse me, that damn United States title has some fucking whiplash this year because it's been around Ray, not this year obviously, but Ray, Joe, Ray, Styles, Andrade, so like that's like in the last 6 months. So I think some longevity for the United States title would not hurt it. I do believe that this is happening because because of who he's dating, but I don't know that that's necessarily a bad thing. If you can fucking play the game, why the fuck not? So
I feel like
you're saying if he wasn't a Flair-in-law, they would have stripped him of that title, or they would have made him lose it for his suspension. Is that what you're saying?
I do believe so.
I agree with
you. So you're the sole reason that you accredit him to keeping that title during his suspension is because he's dating Charlotte.
That is correct.
I think you are letting your hatred for Charlotte Flair cloud your fucking judgment on this one, Cowboy. I really do.
I mean, that's probably not part of, or that's probably part of it. But I mean, like I said, we saw, and again, it's who you are and your spot on the roster. Randy Orton has had 4 wellness violations. 3 is supposed to be 3 strikes and out, and Randy Orton is still fucking sauntering around like God's gift of the fucking wrestling. And I mean, God love Randy Orton. He's great at what he does. But I mean, he's been through fucking 4 violations.
Dude, apparently Randy Orton, the fine is $2,500. I think for now. This is hearsay. This is hearsay for marijuana violations. Apparently, it's a $2,500 violation. And apparently what Randy Orton did to flex on this was they got him for his third one, or not his third one. They got him like for it a couple times. And the last time he went, here's for this one, and here's $25,000 for the next 10. Apparently he did that. Now that's not gospel. I'm just saying I read that somewhere.
That sounds like an Orton thing. But like during the whole like that whole like mail order prescription thing, like I think 6 or 7 like big name people went down. Booker T, that was his second offense, so he was out for 60 days. Batista was part of that, so he was out for 30 days. So like it has a lot to do with your place on the card, who you're friends with outside of the squared circle, because let's be honest, if you're Batista and I put probably the time frame's a little fuzzy, so Batista may have been a little bit higher than Mr. Kennedy at that point, but like they're pretty much even as far as like where they were skill wise. But because Triple H was a buddy with Batista, because they're workout buddies, he was, he served his time and had a rocket on his back as soon as he came back. Whereas Mr. Kennedy never quite recovered from that fucking thing. So, I 100% politics, and we had this discussion probably about a month ago, that politics and wrestling, man, they go hand in hand. It's all about who you know, who you are, and who you're with. So, again, honestly, good for Andrade, because I love his style. I love how he works. Yes. Almas. I'm just going to call him fucking Almas. Good for him, because he's a hell of a worker, and I'm glad to see him get the success. I don't know if he's marrying for love or if he's marrying to be a Flair, but either way, it's working to his beneficiary.
I feel like you think that like wrestlers are incapable of loving someone. I'm like,
it's well documented.
JR.
It's well documented. How many of them are on their 4th or 5th marriage?
That's fine, Beef, but like,
hey, listen, sometimes you got to make mistakes. I'd rather be wrong 999 times than on that 1,000th one hit the one. But I mean, you're not wrong in the fact that some people do marry for the wrong reasons, or like I've had buddies in the military that literally like got married just to get married to have benefits or whatever. Like, it happens, but who's to say?
Hey, did something happen with AEW?
Yes. Oh, hell yeah. So Hangman Adam Page.
Hangman Adam Page.
I knew you'd appreciate that.
That's
JR. Oh.
Yep. So Page and Kenny Omega are the new AEW tag team champions. And from the looks of it, they're working on a really interesting little angle with Page, where like I think he's just kind of like, hey, let me shine on my own, instead of like having the rest of the elite like always in my spotlight, even whenever it's like that. You could see it in the post match interview and stuff like that they did, not necessarily post match, but not immediately following the match, but they got to them like afterwards. Like Shivani was interviewing him and Kenny. And then he he was asking Paige a question, and then he kind of cut him off and like started asking Kenny something. You could see the disdain in Paige's face, and then they started talking to him again, and then in come the Young Bucks, and so it's gonna make for an interesting story angle. So that between that, that was like the big match that happened. A really cool moment. And this is definitely a testament to being over, was Jericho coming out and literally the whole crew singing the lyrics to Judas, which was awesome to hear and watch. So
my wife got goosebumps during that time. Yeah, she looked at me and she's, oh yeah, for me, yeah, for real, me too. Like, it was so fucking cool. But yeah, so the Hangman Page and Omega thing has been happening for like on and off for like the last like 2 months, where Page is kind of like taking this like very heelish persona. He's like drinking more, and he's becoming like an angry drunk, and he's because he's always got a drink in his hand now.
How soon
And,
until he starts wearing a wife beater?
Oh,
no.
God.
Oh,
Hangman the dirty drunken wife beater.
They took my
inside
titles. They
joke.
took my gerb.
So, Steve Boop, if you're listening, that one's for you, buddy. And he's been planting like little seeds here and there, like, okay, like, yes, I'm buddies with them, but I'm trying to separate myself. I want to do my own thing. But it's like every time that like him and Kenny are like right there, they're like, hey man, we're good buddies. We're gonna be a good team. Like the Bucks always show up and they like, kind of ruin it they kind of blow Kenny's spot. And Omega's like, oh come on, Hangman, I didn't plan this. Or like, at the interview. Like Tom said, they did this wonderfully where they start like asking Paige a question, and then Tony like derails himself and asks Omega a question about his singles career, and Pac, which just like enrages Paige even further.
I'm sorry. Every time if you say Pac, like I always like I just hear Justin Roberts introducing him. Pac. It's
Like it's like a cat trying to hack up a hairball.
Yeah, Pac.
And while we're on Justin Roberts, why does he keep calling him? He's a bastard. No, he's not a bastard. He's the bastard. There's a difference. I mean, the Jericho Cruise, like,
Why does Beef keep calling him Andrade? He's Andrade.
Or Cedric Alexander.
Shut up, both of you. I'm tired of your mouth running.
Hey, what are the rules for a strap match again?
Look it up. Look it up. The NWA created the strap match. They know. Look it up. Anyway, I mean, I think that they're setting up a lot of really good stuff going down for the next couple of months at AEW. So I'm pretty psyched to see. Is it Revolution? Yeah, it's Revolution, right?
Yes.
I think that they're going to have some really good quality matches, and I think Wardlow is debuting either this week or next week in a steel cage match with Cody. So that'll be pretty great for sure.
I think that is this week because I thought it was supposed to be this previous week here, but that was the cruise week. So
right.
As far as things that are potentially coming down the line, Beef, you said something interesting earlier today in the chat about there potentially being a swerve when it comes to who Charlotte Flair might be facing from her Rumble win.
And
you would figure she's either going after Becky Lynch or what's that other man lady?
Bailey.
Oh yeah, she's looking more and more like a dude every time I see her.
Despondent when she was coming down to the ring. It was like it's like a kid who goes, "This is probably what it's like when an adult is mad."
She doesn't more and more China face every time I see her.
She's not believable as a heel.
Oh my god, that was great.
She's got the China face going.
Oh,
she looks like mini China.
But that ass. Mm.
Yeah, I can't. I can't see past the bulldog face.
Ditto. I would.
But yeah, I mean, so rumor has it, and this is going to be after NXT airs tomorrow night. So the egg could be on my face. But rumor has it. Uncle Dave reports that Charlotte's going to show up tomorrow and challenge. Oh no, ever challenge Rhea Ripley for the NXT title at WrestleMania, which I think is fucking dynamite. I think Charlotte and Rhea Ripley could have a really good match. I'm worried that Charlotte could beat Rhea Ripley and become like an NXT regular, which I think would kind of bug me a little bit because NXT is mine. Keep that fucking Barbie, the fucking plastic Barbie, out of this. Like, she had her time in NXT.
Did you not sing her praises in NXT?
No, I've never once sang Charlotte's praises. I've sang Sasha's, Bayley's, Becky's, Asuka's, Ember Moon, Kyrie's, Shayna Baszler. All of them in NXT were wonderful. Charlotte was just another person.
So you're saying you're bullying Charlotte Flair?
Is she still injured again?
Yeah, She has to be injured because otherwise she would have been in the Rumble 2 nights ago for
'Cause
sure.
wait, when's the last time we saw Ember Moon? Was that which pay-per-view was that? Was that
It was a
SummerSlam
while
or, like-
ago. It may have been SummerSlam for sure.
Because she was gone for a while before then too. She was injured, and I guess she got re-injured. I don't know.
Yeah,
And look,
it's unfortunate.
I've got no qualms about Sasha Banks not being in the Rumble because I think she's a flaming turd in a shot glass. What's her deal? Is she injured or is she pouting again?
No, she's injured. Yeah, she's
Good.
she's
Oh, is she?
injured.
Good. Stay injured.
Yeah.
Stay injured.
A
Get back.
flaming-
Wait,
Holy
just a
fuck.
quick, just for posterity's sake, and just for information, like when did she get injured last? I didn't know.
I think it was in a match with Lacey Evans, and that's why they kind of dropped it and kind of moved on to Lacey Evans and Bailey. I think that program probably got greenlit a little bit quicker because of what happened with Sasha. I think it's a wrist injury. I'm not 100% on that, but the thought was that she was going to be back for the Rumble. But then, yeah, I guess even like up till Saturday, they were expecting her to be in. But yeah, game day, something different happened. So.
What did she do? Sprain her wrist from wiping her eyes from all the tears? Boo hoo hoo. Oh no, my wrist. I sprained my wrist wiping all my tears.
No. She was busy jerking off Mikaze. Up, down, down.
Well, you know what? Regardless of what happens, when she comes back, I really hope they pair her up with Nia Jax so Nia can just squish her and hurt her again. Get her out.
Not just her
Speaking
and
of
Tamina.
NXT.
Her and Tamina.
Speaking of NXT, I want to give credit where the credit is due. We always talk about riding the hot hand and really rolling with the wave of momentum that people have. And a great example of that is with Keith Lee this last episode, beating Roddy Strong for the North American title. I'm betting that they probably didn't anticipate having him be the first one to lose. It makes sense, but I'm guessing it was probably to go a little bit longer. But I mean, man, fucking Keith Lee is on a monster tear, and if in 1 year we're not talking about him doing something big at WrestleMania, I'll be shocked.
I'm not too surprised that they had Roderick Strong be the first one to lose it since the prophecy's been fulfilled. I kind of think that was probably the most logical choice because I feel like it. I hate to say it. I mean, we all love the Undisputed Era, but if you had to pick a weak link of the Undisputed Era, it's going to be Roderick Strong because Adam Cole's the total package.
Bobby Fish can't stay healthy to walk down a fucking mile. Roddy Strong is nowhere near
Bobby
the weak
Fish
link.
is getting super dumpy too.
I would
put Roddy Strong half a step below Adam Cole, and it's not even that big of a half step.
You're hot.
Kyle O'Reilly. Bear with me though. I mean, I don't disagree with you that Bobby Fish is definitely got the ouchies a lot more than Roderick Strong, but as far as just being able to be that personality on the mic and get emotionally invested in them, I don't see that in Roderick Strong. I'm not nowhere near as emotionally invested in Roderick Strong with what he does in the ring or his promos as I would be. Let me finish.
He can carry a match like none other, man.
No, I'm saying, okay, who are you more impressed with their in-ring work, Kyle O'Reilly or Roderick Strong?
Roddy, 100% Roddy.
Really? After that
Roddy,
one take,
Roddy
after
Strong's
that one,
a marathon man.
Yeah, and so is Kyle O'Reilly. Remember whenever you said, why did they have Kyle O'Reilly in that one ladder match so much? Because he's the fucking workhorse. You said it yourself in a previous podcast. How long ago? I mean, come on.
I think, and it's certainly a good debate to have. But I mean, Roddy Strong has had some incredible matches, match after match after match after match, and I mean, honestly, they all have. So I mean, when we're talking about who's better, I mean, we're talking about fucking milliseconds between runner end times. But I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, I think I see a lot of Chris Benoit and in a good way, and Kurt Angle and Roddy Strong.
What I'm saying is,
Bret Hart is another one. I'm
not denying Roderick Strong's in-ring ability. What I'm saying is I feel just from watching a match and their mannerisms, and then you start factoring in promo skills and stuff like that, I feel more entertained by Kyle O'Reilly than I do Roderick Strong. Bobby Fish, it's hard to tell. You don't get a whole lot out of him. He kind of plays it a little bit close to the vest, I feel like, as far as
He's the straight man.
Mic.
Yeah,
he's the straight man on the mic. But
exactly.
He's the Billy Gunn.
But I bet you if you let him kind of turn loose, I bet you he'd probably be, pretty damn entertaining. But obviously Adam Cole is the one head and shoulders above everybody else there. All I'm saying is when it comes down to it, when you're looking at total package overall of, in-ring work, promo skills and stuff like that, I feel it made sense to have Roderick Strong be the first one to lose, because it's an easy out for them to, like, if they're going to oust somebody of the era, or they're going to have somebody, like, if they're going to give somebody a quote unquote face turn, since they are a heel faction, it makes sense to try to do it with Roderick Strong. Maybe they will try to, make me eat my words here and get me emotionally invested in a storyline with him. The last time I was semi-emotionally invested with Roderick Strong was whenever it was him and Bobby Roode feuding, and they kind of started bringing in the family, because anytime you bring in somebody's family, obviously you're going to get people emotionally invested that way. Everybody's got a family, so I mean,
Well, you're Ric Flair, you have 8 families.
All right. Well, anyway, so fellas, what do you say with that fun little trivia nugget that Beef threw out? What do you say we go on over to some hot tag trivia? Champ, you want to thank our sponsors, including yourself?
I will, actually. We want to thank Mr. Sean Tischler and all his work that he does bringing IWC to all the Clearfieldians up there in Central PA.
Thanks.
You're welcome. You can check out Sean Tischler's Facebook page. The group page is IWC Clearfield, so go check that out and keep up to date with when and where exactly IWC will be coming through the Clearfield area. And even though they're not technically a sponsor for us, go check out IWC, the International Wrestling Cartel, not the Internet Wrestling Community, just to clarify. But go check them out. They put on an amazing show. They just had a really great show with the Reloaded show not long ago here. And I got to say, they were very, very quick to respond to what happened. Just a quick aside. They had issues with their website. Basically, they got so overloaded, it crashed. So they've now since then made the necessary upgrade, so hopefully won't happen again. But what they did, since it crashed, and at first people that ordered the pay-per-view like myself, couldn't get it at first, Justin Plummer ended up making the decision to just put it on Facebook Live for free for everybody. And I had made a comment saying, oh, wow, I actually got this up and running, and, I paid for it just before you guys released it for free, and they actually refunded me my cost of the pay-per-view. So kudos to them. Good company.
Good guys.
Good guys. And then we also want to thank me. I always feel weird thanking myself. So Poot, why don't you do it?
Why don't you thank me instead?
Yeah, why don't you thank me instead of me thanking me?
Everybody grovel at my feet, for I am your champion, your
Bask
king, and
in
your
my glory.
sponsor.
I am your Steel City savior, the solo, undisputed.
Bask in his glory.
Thank you.
No.
Yep. It was a very hard fought victory, by the way, but anywho.
Yeah.
It was.
All right. You won on the back of Beef. Let's be clear.
I won that because I did not pick CM Punk. That's why.
All right. Look, I've had enough of this. I'm going to thank the sponsor. Ready? Casual Gaming Dad. Go find him. Great job. As always, go Tom.
I expected nothing less or nothing more from Ransom. Thank you.
Well, you should always expect less from me, because that way you just won't be disappointed. I had a hot tag trivia last week for Beef that I tried to get in, but the Screw Beef 2020 took over the bulk of the podcast. So I don't care what the order is, but I have a question for Beef.
I want Ransom.
Damn it. So who do
Guess I'll take Tom, and Tom will take Poot.
Okay. I gotta look mine up to clarify. I had one in mind.
I got mine here locked and loaded and ready to go.
Go for it.
All right.
Roll out.
So Adam, all I thought about right after I had
Kayfabe break.
Whoa.
Kayfabe break.
Whoa.
Kayfabe break.
On the man's birthday, no less. How dare you?
I
Damn
don't
it.
want to hear it from you.
Shut that shit down.
I don't want to hear it from you at all, Beef. I have numerous recordings of you fucking up. All right, so you calm down over there. I noticed
kids.
you throwing out all the $10 words earlier in this podcast. Good job.
Oh.
You
It
jerk.
can only go down from there.
You jerk. Slowly discounting them. $9.95, $8.43, $5, 2 cents.
Tree Fitty! Tree
Tree
Fitty!
Fitty.
Tree Fitty.
All right.
That damn Putin is more for me. Tree Fitty.
All right.
Shut
Sorry.
the hell up, Beef.
Ransom.
Yeah.
All right. So whenever I was watching the Rumble in the end death rattle of my sickness that I had going on, whenever we heard the infamous "You think you know me," after I got over the I was flashed back to 15-year-old Poot and going, oh, it's Edge, and having my moment. The first person I thought of was you. Because I was like, oh, Ransom is freaking out. He is freaking out right now. He's so hyped. So this question is for you. It's a 2-parter. So in honor of you. So Mr. Edge, or Adam Copeland, okay, he's been wrestling for a good long time before his retirement in 2011 and now his return in 2020. Ransom, what was, and this is part 1, this is a little bit of a softball, what was Adam Copeland's in-ring name when he first debuted?
Sexton Hardcastle.
Sexton Hardcastle, good job. Now, on what day and year did he debut?
Jesus.
When did he have his first in professional wrestling in-ring debut?
Is that ever, or is that in WWE?
Ever.
Oh, for frick's sake. You want what?
Damn.
I
Pooch.
gave you the softball.
All right. You want the day and the year?
Yes.
Oh, Lord,
I
have
will
mercy.
say this. It's very appropriate what day he debuted.
Hold on. Wait a minute now. Your hints always have some sort of deep meaning to them. I think I remember watching in his video, he debuted in 1992.
You got the year.
And I don't know if I'm right on this, but your hint really, your hint makes me think of it. I don't know what day of the week it is, but I think he debuted on a holiday. I think he debuted on Canada Day.
You are 100% correct.
Is that right? I have no idea what day of the week that is.
That would be
What
July
date?
1st, 1992 at Monarch Park Stadium in Toronto.
Nice.
When
Damn.
Sexton Hardcastle walked through those curtains.
I love me some Edge, man.
Good job, Ransom. I'm proud of you.
My daughter calls him Edgy Poo.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh my God, my heart.
Because
Wonder where she got that from.
after what?
I said, I wonder where she got that from.
After
Probably
the
your father's
Rumble,
name, Ajay Poo.
yeah, after the Rumble,
Majin Buu?
I went back on Monday because I was off on Monday. I went back. I was watching some Edge matches, and she kept asking, "Who's that guy? Who's that guy? Who's that guy?" And I said, "Oh, that." I kept pointing him out. I'm like, "That's Edge. That's Edge." And she went, "Oh, Edgy Poo." I was like, "That's it. That's Edgy Poo." Love
That's
me some
amazing.
Edge.
The best. Somewhere Beth Phoenix
right.
is like, that's what I call him.
Oh, she's the best. She's the best combination of terrifying and gorgeous. You may or may not get this. I'm willing to bet that you will, just because you seem to have the histories. Histories down pretty good. There have been a lot of Triple Crown winners in the WWE. The Triple Crown. Maybe not. So for this Triple Crown, it's going to be the WWF/WWE Tag Team and Intercontinental. So this
Okay.
will be before any sort of brand splitting.
So the OG. Okay.
Yeah, so this is OG Triple Crown. Name for me the OG Triple Crown winners. Ooh. Hello? Are we on?
Yeah, I'm thinking to myself.
Okay. We'll make sure.
No, you're good.
Drop the
Oh, fuck. I want to say that Bret Hart was the first. Michaels for sure too. Diesel because he held every single title in a year.
I'll give you the number. It's 9. There are 9 of them.
9. Okay. So Hart, Michaels, Diesel, all of those are I'm 100% sure on. Hogan, I don't think was ever IC champ. Warrior, I don't think was ever tag team champ. Macho Man was all 3. 4. DiBiase was never technically champion, or was he Intercontinental champion either? Was Andre? No, not Andre. And so, let me ask this of you then.
Yes?
So we're not talking. Yes. So we're not talking. So we're not talking anybody after like the European. So like Austin, The Rock, Triple H, none of those guys because they're all like quote unquote Grand Slam. You're talking about Triple Crown before the European title. So like all those the guys that came after would not qualify, right?
Yeah, European title is not factored into the Triple Crown. It is WWF, WWE, Intercontinental, and Tag.
So basically the people before that, okay. Because like I said, I know that Rock, Austin, Triple H, all of those guys would be, and now fucking Rollins, Reigns, Dan Ambrose, fucking half the damn roster.
Yeah, none after any sort of brand splitting.
Okay. So yes, certainly, Michaels, Hart, Diesel, Savage. Trying to think when The Rock and Austin and Triple H would have got in there, because that's fuck. You know what? I'll say it. Austin, Triple H, and The Rock as well. So that's 7. Trying to think of like the old heads, because a lot of those old guys were like mid-carders for life, like Roddy Piper, or like the fucking Dragon Ricky Steamboat. I don't know. So I'll say those 7: Hart, Michaels, Diesel, Savage, Triple H, Austin, The Rock, and I don't know who else.
So from the list I'm looking at, Savage is not on it.
He should be, because he was definitely Intercontinental champion, tag team champion, and heavyweight champion. He was.
Who was he a tag champ with?
Hogan, the Mega Powers. Or wait, the Mega
Were they
Powers
tag
have
champs?
never been champions.
I don't think they were.
I don't think they
stand
were.
corrected. Yep, I stand corrected.
Okay, so you've got Hart, Diesel, Michaels, Austin, Rock, Triple H. Right?
Yep.
So left off that list is Kane.
Oh.
He was WWF champion June 28, 1998. Tag champ with Mankind in 1998. And Intercontinental champion in 2001.
Yep.
Chris Jericho, who was in December 2001, was the champion. Tag champions with Chris Benoit in 2001 and Intercontinental in 99. And the very last one.
That, but I'm like I didn't know where the cutoff was, because Angle's in there. Angle would have been in there too, and I think Benoit would have been in there too. So yeah, that's. But go on. Sorry.
Angle was a tag champ with Benoit after the brand split.
Okay, so after Brand split. Okay.
The last one that you're missing was an oldie, Pedro Morales.
Oh, no kidding.
Wow.
97. No, I'm sorry, 71.
Pedro Morales.
1971. Yeah, Pedro Morales, he was the champion in 71, tag champions with Bob Backlund in 1980, and also Intercontinental champion in 1980.
Huh. Well, there you go. I knew there would probably be one old guy slip past me because, those I don't think I've ever seen a Pedro Morales match in my life. God help me.
No, I haven't either.
Yeah.
So, okay. Oh, who is he? Who is that champ I see? Rhetorical question, but they all know the answer. Double T. All right, Tiger Bomb. This one's for you, buddy. All right. So, this is probably going to be my last Rumble question since we are on the road to WrestleMania. We often the Royal Rumble is a huge deal. The matches themselves, because obviously it kind of lays the groundwork for what we're going to see at WrestleMania. So that said, the Rumble match itself has not always been in the limelight. In fact, it began as an undercard match to a 2 out of 3 falls tag team match at the first Royal Rumble event. My question to you, Tom, is there was a time in which back-to-back years it was not the main event. What were those 2 years that there? Now there have been other years, but there are 2 years back-to-back where it was not the main event. I want those 2 years. And then there's a second part to this question as well.
I have no idea because I want to say I do remember one of the years. It was within the last. Was it within the last 5 years? Can you give me that?
Well, again, I'm looking for 2 years back to back that it was not made event.
I get that, but
no,
I'm saying
so I will tell you that it has not been within the last 5 years. No.
Okay, because I could have swore there was a time. I could have swore that one of them happened like in semi-recent history, like around the last 5 years, where I was like that it wasn't the main event, and I was like kind of pissed off about it. But that could have been one that happened, but just not back to back. So back to back.
I hate it when they do that, by the way.
Yeah, that they don't put the. Yeah, I agree.
It's the name of the damn pay-per-view, and you don't have that match as the last match. That's stupid.
Do you by chance? Do you happen to? I'm not asking for a hint, but do you have the other years where it was not the main event? Just kind of sitting there in front of you.
Vaguely, no. I'd have to scan back through Wikipedia, okay. but I have decent ideas because it literally only happened about 4 or 5 times. So
okay. But one of the times was definitely within recent memory. I know that. I'm just gonna take a stab in the dark and say 2003 and 4 because I have no idea.
Nope. It was
89, 90.
Nope. It was 96 and 97. Michael's second year and Austin's first year.
Okay.
Ironic because those are both big events. Now the second part of this question is there was a point in the Royal Rumble's history, in recent memory, where it wasn't just the undercard; it was straight up 2 matches before the main event. What was that year?
That year, I feel like that was the one I'm thinking of, and I'm gonna say that was. Oh shit! Hold on. 2016.
It was not.
Okay.
It was 2006. That was the year that Rey Mysterio won. That was the 5th match on the card, followed by John Cena versus Edge and Kurt Angle versus Mark Henry. And Angle versus Mark Henry was the fucking main event.
Okay then.
So dumb. I hate it when they do that.
Yeah, I don't enjoy that either, and I that's a whole nother tangent that I could get on my soapbox about. But instead, I'm going to go ahead and ask Poot probably what will be my last Rumble question for all this stuff for now. So you ready?
Let's do it.
All right. So we've been sitting here and singing all the praises of how great of a match the Royal Rumble was and how great the men's Royal Rumble was.
Sure.
And okay, but my question to you is about the women's Royal Rumble, and this might be a softball. It's a two-parter. First of all, what woman holds the record for the longest time spent in the Royal Rumble?
I immediately had an idea jump in my head.
Go with your gut.
I'm trying. It's ample, and it usually leads me right. I want to say Carmella. That's my initial reaction is Carmella. I don't know if that's right though, because I thought the first
Tom, you talking cumulative time?
No.
Oh, you're just talking like one, like who right now is top dog.
In a single Royal Rumble, who holds the record for the longest time spent in the Rumble?
Oh boy. Didn't they just mention this on a Raw recently?
Probably.
I thought they mentioned this, or they mentioned it in promos. Okay, so Carmella was my first one because wasn't the first year that she did it wasn't fuck. Okay, well I gotta think of something else because I'm not 100% sure on that. I thought they were pushing the shit out of her for the first one. Who else was there? Well, they wouldn't have given it to like a legacy like Kelly or some fucking nonsense like that.
Certainly not like Kelly for sure.
The other two that are popping in my head are Ember Moon and Natalya. Natalya, just because she's, she's really respected and she's the one. I swear, God, I don't. Those are my three.
Well, I need one.
Fuck. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with Natty. We'll say Natty.
Yep.
Oh, was it Natty?
Yep.
Fuck. Okay.
Now here's your question: how long did she last?
Oh fuck, Tom. Like that's the thing. Is like
that's my name.
These stats, I like. Tom's sitting on his fucking like
that
toilet
boy?
with his fucking fake ass belt. Let's see.
It's still better looking than that phone piece of shit.
Yeah, but it's not the legacy belt. It sucks. It's kind of like the Intercontinental belt wasn't the Intercontinental belt until it was brought back to the original design. So just throwing that out there.
Hey, whenever you want to FedEx it to me, I'll gladly take it and wear it.
Funny enough, even though the original one is the spinner belt, yours is the spinner belt of the title so far. So,
oh my.
Anytime you're ready, FedEx it over to me. But before you do that, let me know how long Natty stayed in the Rumble for.
Man, I'm going to tell you pride goes before the fall, Tom. You better be careful.
3 hours.
That'd be
Followed by a live sex celebration.
Like, oh, we're going to get another one of those now that Edge is back.
What's that?
We're going to get another one of those now that Edge is back.
Yes, sir.
Geriatric sex celebration.
Oh no. Hopefully he doesn't split Beth's head open this time.
I'm gonna go with like 40. How specific do you want?
I don't know. Give me what you got.
Ballpark. I'm gonna say 49 minutes.
Nope. 56:01.
Oh fuck. It's not 56:01.
So listen,
good
interesting
question though, Tom.
tidbit.
Good question. Good
Thank
question.
interesting tidbit of information. I think that you three would enjoy this. Speaking of Carmella, she was in the 2004 Diva Search. Do you remember that?
Carmella?
Isn't that the one that Maria won?
No, that's the one that Hemi won.
Okay.
Holler if you have me.
So they did a segment called Diss the Diva in this Diva Search.
Yeah.
And this was on live TV, mind you. Live TV. During the Diss the Diva contest, Hemi said the following about Carmella. She called Carmella on live TV a cum-burping gutter slut.
Wow.
Christy Hemi said that on live TV and won.
That's kind of
won the
ironic.
Diva Search contest. Cum-burping. Oh.
I mean, if there's anybody that was a cum-burping gutter slut, I think Christy Hemi probably has a closer niche to that name of the title.
That's what we call in the business projecting.
I just thought that was an interesting little thing. Like, holy crap, you said that on live TV, and not only were you not punished, you won.
Well, I mean,
Vince McMahon did bang Triple H.
I mean, Vince McMahon did drop the N word, so I mean, there's that.
That was on pay-per-view though, so you know.
Still.
Hulk Hogan, we're coming for.
Oh boy, well, guys, we are getting long in the tooth here. What do you say we wrap this up in a nice little burrito?
Sure thing.
Burrito time.
All right. Well, I guess I'll take it home since we already thanked the sponsors. There's no need to do it again. So, as always, guys, don't forget if you have any Stump the Chumps questions for us, we promise we'll start getting back to them here in the next week. But when you have a heavy loaded show like the Royal Rumble stuff and all the wrap up, it's hard to get that all in. But Midcard Maniac, and if anybody else decides to send us anything, hit us up at Pittsburgh Piledriver Podcast at gmail.com. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook and YouTube. You can also listen to us on Anchor, on Spotify, and on the Google Podcast apps. You can tweet us at Pit Piledriver, but I won't answer you because I'm not on the twat machine. So the other three jamokes are. But Beef the Legend's lovely wife, the Belle of the Brawl, is running our Instagram. So you can always hit us up on the Instagram and follow us there too, Pittsburgh Piledriver Podcast. And on behalf of the other fellas here, I just want to say thank you guys for tuning in tonight. On behalf of Beef the Legend, on behalf of Poot the Bird, and Mr. Alec Ransom, who is celebrating his birthday today with a live sex celebration, I bet.
Oh, wow.
This is your reigning, defending, undisputed Cruiserweight champion, Tiger Bomb Tom, saying, have a good night, folks.
Ugh.
Motherfucker. Happy birthday to you.
Cut.
Happy birthday to you.
No.
Happy birthday, dear Ransom.
I don't want this in the show.
Happy birthday to you.
I'll kneecap you, you piece of shit.
All that did was make me regret music ever existing.
All right, put that at the end. I'm doing a thing.
All right.
Hurtful.
Cocksucker.